Criminal Investigations, alongside Onesmus Momanyi, a court assistant, Abdallah Abubakar, who has been in charge of exhibits, and Lawrence Thoya, a support staff at the Mombasa Law Courts. The DPP says that the 4 suspects recklessly handled exhibits, leading to the loss of 10 kilograms of heroin valued at 10 million shillings and over 600,000 shillings. Kevin Mutai now joins us live from Mombasa with those details. Kevin, very shocking news, and only goes to show how deeply entrenched the drugs trade is at the coast, right?
Well, indeed, that is true, and very shocking to discover that court officials here in Mombasa have been part and parcel of the narcotics business here at the coast region. Just to bring you up to speed on what has befallen Edgar Kagoni and other court officials, their arrest came after the DCI officials received a complaint on the 8th of August from a magistrate here within the Mombasa Law Courts, who raised concerns over the reckless handling of exhibits in the case that involved Masood Eid, a drug trafficker, and 2 others. The anti-narcotics detectives immediately commenced investigations and discovered that Masood Eid had been presented to court with 10 kilograms of heroin and over 600,000 cash money. The magistrate who presided over that particular case was Edgar Kagoni, and upon further investigations, the officers found out that Kagoni allowed drugs to be kept under the custody of a court official identified as Onesmus Momanyi. The officer said that Kagoni declined to give them the custody of the drugs, which contradicted the manual registry, which requires that the court give orders for the appropriate storage of exhibits. Later in this year, around June, Kagoni delivered a ruling on the 11th of June 2019 and convicted Hussein Masood Eid for trafficking narcotics and sentenced him to 30 years in prison, and in addition fined him 90 million shillings. But in June, the drugs, the same month, the drugs and the money which had been exhibits or in that case were discovered to have gone missing, and that particular issue was also raised to the detectives, and it was I found out that the officers, the court officials, were behind the theft of that particular consignment of drugs and the cash. That prompted the DCI to institute investigations, which led to conclusions that the 4 court officials allegedly or behind the theft of the narcotics. The DPP now says that they will be charged, among other things, obstruction of justice and aiding and abetting the drug business. Also to bring to your attention, Edmond, is that the DCI officers here in Mombasa are also yet to deliver another file to the office of the DPP in this particular matter, again regarding Edgar Kagoni. The DCI officers are accusing Kagoni and of course other court officials, the senior court officials also here in Mombasa, for forging documents, and that helped in the release of another suspect, Mohammed Ali Noor. These are the details that we are still gathering from the detectives in Mombasa, and I'm sure we will be able to update our viewers more on what is transpiring. As at now, the suspects are in lawful custody and will be arraigned on Monday. Back to you, Edmond.
Thank you so much, Kevin Mutai, live from Mombasa. We'll have more details on that at 7 p.m. and, of course, at 9 p.m. on NTV Weekend Edition. To another case of crime, NDCI detectives have recovered a motor vehicle that was used by individuals dressed as police officers Thursday to steal 72 million shillings from an automated teller machine in Nairobi West area. 3 more suspects in custody, bringing the number of persons arrested in connection with the heist to 10.
Owino's garage in Kikuyu is where police investigating the theft of 72 million shillings in the city traced a Toyota Voxy minivan getting a new coat of paint hours after ferrying the loot that men dressed as police officers took from a G4S cash-in-transit van in an early morning heist. The van, whose registration number is KCE 920E, was originally white. It was being repainted black. The Directorate of Criminal Investigations, via its Twitter handle, says the 3 suspects have been arrested in connection with the stolen cash, but no information on the money and whether it has been recovered has been given. Among the suspects taken into custody Friday is a man dressed in overalls who was found working on the vehicle. Another young man, also captured at the vicinity of the garage, has been taken into custody, with police stating that they are at an advanced stage of the investigations. In their communication via Twitter, DCI says that detectives are in hot pursuit of the other criminals who are on the run. Police say the investigations have extended into Kiambu County, with most of the evidence recovered in Thogoto. Police in Kikuyu, who found 13 empty cash boxes in a forest, say they will hand over the evidence to their colleagues in Langata, who are the lead investigators in the case. Leila Mohammed, NTV.
And to yet another case of cartel country, Bobasi Member of Parliament Innocent Obiri and a Chinese contractor Zhang Jing, with the director of Edmond property, have been arrested over the 4.14 billion shilling tender for the construction of the Lake Basin Mall in Kisumu County. The construction cost was inflated from 2.5 billion shillings as a way of corrupt dealings amongst 32 accused persons and 2 companies. A statement by the Director of Public Prosecutions, Nuruddin Haji, identified Obiri as the Managing Director of Quantec Consultancy, which was under investigation for issuing the final account of the inflated cost, which was increased by 1.6 billion shillings. Chinese national Zhang Jing is accused alongside his counterpart, Edmond Property MD John Zeyang Yang, for bribing Lake Basin Development Authority Board Chairman Onyango Lo with some 17 million shillings and offering other benefits as a way of allowing the skyrocketed construction cost. Detectives are currently in search of Lo, who is the Kisumu County Assembly Speaker, and he is said to be in hiding. And to a bit of politics now, security has been beefed up at all polling stations in Kibra constituency as the ODM party conducts its nomination exercise to choose the candidate for the upcoming by-election. The exercise kicked off early this morning, and NTV's Vincent Udwor now joins us live with the very latest. Vincent, how is the exercise going on so far?
Absolutely, so far so good. The exercise is going on peacefully, and just as you can see behind me here, there are a number of residents of Kibra constituency who are members of ODM party who have turned up to really participate in this exercise, whereby they are going to elect one person out of 10 aspirants who are gunning for the party's ticket to be able to participate in the upcoming by-elections that will be held here at Kibra on 7th November. Right now, as you can see, there are very few people at most of the polling stations, but remember the polls were opened very early in the morning at 6, whereby most people were able to vote very early in the morning. But right now, when you go across different polling stations in Kibra constituency, you realize there are very few people and very short queues, but people are participating. And remember, this nomination exercise is happening at or basically I can say it is happening in 24 centers in Kibra constituency, which comprises of 180 polling stations, and security has been beefed up. For instance, where we are here, I've personally seen almost 7 police officers who are stationed here at this polling station, and to ensure that the exercise goes on smoothly. And what has really come up since morning is that most people who came to vote ended up not finding their names in the list, because the people who are supposed to vote today, or the voters who are allowed to vote, are only those voters who are registered members of ODM. And therefore, even if you are a voter in Kibra constituency and you've not been registered as a member of ODM party, you're not allowed to vote. And therefore, many people in the morning were really disappointed, saying that they woke up very early, stood for long hours from 6 a.m. in the morning, and they were not able to vote because their names were not in the registrars list. But we just spoke a few minutes ago with the ODM national chairman, ODM Nairobi chairman, Jaladwa, who said that those people who have not been registered as members of ODM are not going to be allowed to vote, and therefore most of them have decided to go back home. Remember, the person who is going to win this nomination exercise today, because the polls will be closed exactly at 6 p.m. or 6 in the evening, and the person who is going to emerge the winner is the one who is going to face Jubilee's candidate McDonald Mariga, together with a number of other candidates from various political parties who are participating in this by-election. And therefore, remember also, there are pundits who've seen this upcoming by-election as a platform, or they're looking at it as a platform whereby ODM leader Raila Odinga and Deputy President William Ruto are going to flex their political muscle as far as this election is going to go. Therefore, we are going to continue being here until evening, when we are going to tell you who is going to fly ODM flag in the upcoming by-elections. For now, I'm taking you back to studio.
Thank you so much, Vincent, with that elaborate update of what's going on in Kibra constituencies as the ODM party conducts its nomination exercise to decide on a candidate to face McDonald Mariga, as you said. Now, the ongoing operation to secure the last 8,000 hectares of the Maasai Mau forest continues in Narok County. People have been moving out, with the Kenya Forest Service and the Kenya Wildlife Services officers leading patrols. Bridget Ngara joins us live with an update from Narok County. Bridget, what is it looking like this afternoon?
Well, today we decided to abandon the highlands where the operation is going on and come to assess the impact of the activities that are happening in the upper regions of Narok County. And right now I'm standing at the riverbed of the Mara River. This is a peculiar scene right now because the water levels are even below the average. We have seen a bridge here that is indicating the recommended water levels of this river, but right now it's rock, debris, and along the shores you could have a picture of where the water levels would be as at now, because this is the season for the wildebeest migration, the 8th wonder of the world that attracts millions and scores of tourists to Narok County to come and witness this natural phenomenon that has been renowned world over. But this is the scene here of the Mara River, a clear indication that the destruction of the Maasai Mau forest is having an impact on the livelihoods downstream. We do understand that the reason why the government is conducting this operation right now is to rescue 8,000 hectares of the Maasai Mau, a critical point because this is where the source of this Mara River, the forest of the Maasai Mau, is the source of the Mara River and the Ewasongiro River. The Amalo tributary goes forward and gives birth to the Ewasongiro River, but the source of the Maasai Mara River is where the operation is currently taking place. It did rain last night and we would expect a lot of overflow coming downstream right now, but you can see there is nothing much to see. The water levels are really down and the wildlife also are coming in and out. You can see, of course, as some pans ahead, you can see that the riverbed is totally dry in some sections. Apart from this side of the river where they're just fully rocks, you can see the wildlife coming in to drink. And so this is an important lifeline, not only for the wildlife but for the people who depend on the Mara River. We do understand more than 10 million people downstream depend on the Mara River and other 12 rivers that feed into other water bodies in the country. But the operation continues. As at this morning, they're still doing their patrols. They're still following up on where people have left, just trying to ensure that people don't go back to their homes. Yesterday when we were there, we did see massive trees have been felled. Land has been cleared to give way for agricultural activities. There's a lot of food that has been left behind. There's cabbages, there's beans, there's potatoes, and so there was a lot of farming activities taking place in this area at the expense of the sources of the rivers that depend, or the many Kenyans depend on for livelihood. This is not just a source of water, but also a key tourist income earning river because it is in one of the largest game reserves, the Maasai Mara National Reserve, and this is where the country also gets a lot of foreign income from the tourist activities that depend on this river. You can see that people can really walk across the river. This is, at this time, we do understand this water level will be above, even maybe somewhere coming towards almost my waist, so that also when the wildebeest migrate, you can see, or in previous pictures, you've been able to see they migrate when the water levels are pretty high and the crocodiles are there and the hippos are there. And it's also a river that promotes the cycle of life, not just for human beings, but also for the wildlife that do depend on this key river. We are here today just to see how best are people working towards ensuring that the upstream activities up in the Maasai Mau forest are going to help resuscitate this river. It is, according to the government, a lifeline for many people. We did also speak with the person in charge of this operation, the one who's conducting the forces that are just walking around to ensure that people don't go back to their homes. People also are heeding to this government directive, and he said it would be selfish for people to think that this is a target for some local communities here. We also had the government governor of this county, Samuel Tunai, talking about the leaders of this county are in control of the situation. He had a press briefing sometime on Friday, and he said the Narok leaders are capable to handle the current situation, and he would like for the people or other leaders from other counties to exercise restraint, because they will give a final take on what is really going on here. But people are moving out as at now, and the operation continues. Edmond.
Thank you so much, Bridget Ngana, for that update. And from one case of eviction to another, and about 20 families spent the night in the cold after the National Police Service effected the eviction of police officers from their houses at the Ngara police post in Nairobi. This comes weeks before the consent order to allow the junior police officers continue residing in the government-issued houses lapses.
It was an indication that their stay at the Ngara police station in Nairobi had lapsed, and it was time to pack and go. Constables, whether present at home or away on duty, were left packing and gathering the remainder of their decent living here. The junior officers have accused the National Police Service of going against the GOT agreement that gave them a grace period for up to 13th September to find alternative housing. In January, the former Inspector General of Police, Joseph Boynet, directed that police officers living in government houses, leased houses, police camps or lines needed to move out by February 13th. Activist Okiya Omtata went to court to challenge the changes made in the police service by President Uhuru Kenyatta earlier this year, arguing there had been no public participation. Eunice Omolo, NTV, Nairobi.
President Uhuru Kenyatta has rewarded members of the legendary Mwakigwena choir group from Gombatu in Kwale County. The group was particularly loved by Kenya's founding president, Jomo Kenyatta, and many of the country's freedom heroes for its patriotic music. The choir is famous for wimbo huu ni wimbo wa historia and Kenya ni nchi ajabu.
They are the Mwakigwena choir, a choir that stands proud in this generation as heroes, not only in this era, but also during the late Jomo Kenyatta's reign in the 60s and 70s. Wimbo huu ni wimbo wa historia and Kenya ni nchi ya ajabu are some of the songs that made the Mwakigwena choir group. President Uhuru Kenyatta hosted the group at State House, Mombasa. The president hailed the group for its immense contribution to the country's rich heritage through their music and said his administration will continue supporting national heroes whose selfless service has helped shape the nation. The group, which is famous for its patriotic songs, started out as a school choir in the late 1970s under the tutelage of music teacher and composer Enoch Odengo, and would often be invited to entertain guests during state functions. As part of the government's reward, each of the 14 members of the group has been allocated 3 acres of land at the Bunguni settlement scheme in Kwale County.
Wakati ya kukumbuka wale ambao wameunda na wametoa jasho yao na fikira zao kuunda nyimbo ambazo tunachezea wengine, na lazima pia wapate riziki yao kidogo. Si ni hivyo? Yangu ni kuwaomba. Hivyo mlianza, tuendelee. Right?
Hizi hati miliki tunazo hapa msiende mkauza. Tafadhalini. Si ndio rais mwenyewe ndiye amewatunikia? Msiziuze. Mziweke ili zije zifaidi watoto wenu na mfanye maendeleo.
Tumpeana shukrani zetu za dhati. Leo ni furaha. Leo tunashukuru, tunakupongeza rais wetu, ututambue zaidi ya hivi. Kama kuna mazuri mengine pia utufanyie, na kama kuna sikukuu za kiserikali ututambue, tuendeleze talent yetu.
For the ailing Mwalimu Odengo, the president said the government will take care of his treatment cost. The head of state said the government will continue to honor its heroes for the roles they played in shaping the nation. And that the nation will never forget the sacrifices they made.
The sound of wimbo huu ni wimbo wa historia, a reminder of the good old days when we'd hear that song every other day on KBC. Indeed, a very good music there. And Congratulations to the composers who have been rewarded by the president. Now, following a feature that was aired on NTV, Familia Defiler, that was 2 weeks ago, well-wishers from different parts of the country have turned out in large numbers to support the teen mothers of Migori County. The feature revealed that incest has contributed to the high number of teen pregnancies. The well-wishers are currently at I Can Fly Rescue Center in Uriri constituency, where they are talking to the girls. NTV's Bernardo Juang, who did that story, now joins us live from Migori. Ojuang, who is in the group that is visiting these girls?
Well, thank you very much, Edmond. We are live here in Uriri constituency, I Can Fly Rescue Center, where over 60 girls, teen mothers, are being kept here, at least as a way of rescuing them. Remember, last time, just as you put it, we carried a story, and it was revealed that most of these cases are as a result of incest, whereby fathers, cousins impregnate, defile, and impregnate their own biological daughters. And of course, these has really contributed to high rate of teenage mothers here in Migori County. And currently, I'm instead of wasting a lot of time, remember, today was going on here, well-wishers, judiciary, the police have come here at least to give them a smile back to their faces. And of course, we're just going to talk to some of the people. Just tell us, what are they doing here? You'll just tell us what are people doing here today.
First of all, I wish to welcome NTV here and all the guests who are here. What we do is that we rescue girls who are victims of child marriage, incest, and rape, defilement, and also other causes that affect girls. So we wish to welcome everyone in I Can Fly International Rescue Center.
Well, thank you very much. I'll speak to the last person here. Join me. You are here to talk to these girls following the story that was aired on NTV.
Yes, thank you so much, Bernard. My name is Honorable Jackie Paul Ongoro, MCA Kanyasa Board, and we are happy today. We have so many people coming here together to support the girl child, those who've been rescued, the rape cases, incest cases, like we did a story last week, and the week before that we did it, and we also have cases of rape cases that we are dealing with today. Today it is only just to encourage them, to show them that we are here for them, and those who are still at home, we are encouraging them to come up.
Well, I'll speak to one of the religious leaders, Father Maasai. Join me here, Father. This is something that has been talked about, the incest, where fathers defile their own daughters. What do you have to say there? What's the way forward?
Yes, thank you very much. I think the way forward is that we introduce our children back to the traditional code of ethics that highlighted, human values, potential, duty, respect.
Bernardo Juang live from Uriri constituency, speaking to some of the well-wishers who come to visit the girls who were featured on Familia Defiler. That's a feature that we aired here. Just goes to show the impact that our journalism is having across the country. Now, 5 people have been charged in Cabernet Court after they were found with 21 pieces of elephant tusks. The suspects were transporting the tusks from Tiaty constituency to Nairobi on 2 motorbikes. The 5 were arrested through combined efforts by officers from the Kenya Wildlife Service and the police at a Lem area in Ribco Ward, that's in Tiaty constituency. The suspects appeared before Senior Principal Magistrate Paul Bewart, where they denied the charges. The prosecution requested the court to give the suspects strict bond terms due to the gravity of the matter. They were not identified because their identity could not be established, I should say, since they did not have any identification documents with them. The case will be heard on Friday next week.
From KWS and National Police Service, acting on a tip-off, ambushed 5 suspects who are carrying these tasks, around 21 of them, from Tiaty, and they were destined for Nairobi.
Mombasa Governor Hassan Ali Joho had a hard time answering questions regarding possible misappropriation of funds in the county. During the Senate Public Accounts Committee hearing, Joho was accused of having managed county accounts inappropriately, with certain departments in his government receiving huge sums of money unjustifiably.
Are you Buhiri? Are you a member of the Institute of Certified Public Accountants? And what is your number?
Governor, you must ensure that the people who prepare your financial statements comply fully with the standards.
Naweza kukueleza hapa kwamba wako wenye uwezo na upeo mpana kindaki katika shughuli za mambo ya kifedha.
And with all these other economic activities, what is your projection of the revenue?
Our target by 2020 will be 10 billion in our projections. But this fiscal year, we're looking at 5 billion shillings.
I was expecting maybe health to be having quite a sizable budget, water and sanitation, and so on and so forth.
Hiyo imeenda katika madeni ya zamani ambayo hayakulipwa. Na alafu sijamaliza bwana. Madam.
No, kwa sababu governor is chair, you're not answering me the question.
Senator Manga is asking financiers a 2.3 billion budget, part of which a big chunk goes to development. And I think that's what she needs to understand, what development finance does for it to be allocated in the budget.
Tunasema kwamba expenditure hii ni mwaka wa jana, pesa zilizochelewa zikapelekwa mbele kwa Department of Finance kuweza kulipa miradi ambayo imetendeka the previous fiscal year.
National Assembly picks these financial statements and says that why should we give Mombasa money when Mombasa was not able to spend 772 million. Just 2 days ago, I saw in the media where they put a profile of coastal counties saying that this county returned billions. This county had billions in their account. It was totaling to almost 7 billion Kenya shillings, saying that coastal counties are asking for more money and yet they are not utilizing the little they have.
The Nation Media Group yesterday activated its Newspaper in Education or NIE program at St. Peter's Natwana Primary School in Moisbridge area within Uasin Gishu County. The Newspapers in Education program aims at sensitizing students and teachers on the role Daily Nation and Taifa Leo newspapers can play in promotion of English and Swahili languages in schools. The NMG team also distributed learning materials, including textbooks and dictionaries, to the students. The exercise is part of NMG's desire to support education as part of its corporate social responsibility program as the group celebrates 60 years of existence.
Been told of challenges they faced over the past years, and we decided to become a part of it by contributing a number of books from various classes.
So this is just one of the schools that we are going to impact. And the other thing is, once we bring the schools, we also follow up to see, are they actually making an impact to the school? Do they need more? Are they enough for the children?
We promise on behalf of all the stakeholders that we are going actually to make maximum use of the books you have really given to us. And God willing, we shall invite you one day, one time, to come and celebrate the good results which will have emanated as a result of your participation in assisting the school get the textbooks.
Let's now shift gears to sports, and Brian Otwal is in studio with that. Brian.
Thank you so much, Edmond. Let's have a look at the latest in sports. And world 1500 meter silver medalist Timothy Cheruiyot won his second consecutive Diamond League trophy in 1500 meters after storming to victory in the men's event in Brussels Diamond League final. Cheruiyot salvaged the day for Kenyan athletes after compatriots Conseslus Kipruto and Helen Obiri could not defend their Diamond League titles. Cheruiyot, who has dominated the event this year, won in 3 minutes 30.22 seconds, setting a meeting record. With the win, Cheruiyot collected the 5 million money